You need to stop what you're doing right now and check your pocket. I'm serious. Because there are coins, ordinary-looking coins, you've probably held, maybe even spent today, that carry hidden wealth most people will never recognize. And the scary part? Nobody talks about these. These aren't the flashy coins you see on TV. These are silent fortunes hiding in plain sight, blending in, waiting to disappear forever. Collectors are fighting over them in private auctions, paying real money, life-changing money, while everyone else just keeps spending them like nothing. Do not spend these coins. What I'm about to show you could literally change how you look at every coin in your hand. And listen, each coin we go through gets rarer, more dangerous to ignore, and way more valuable. So stay with me, because missing even one of these could cost you a fortune. Coin number 1. There's a reason some coins don't shine. And this one is a perfect example. Most people would look at this 1949 Franklin $half and immediately dismiss it. Gray layers across both sides, a strange green spot sitting quietly on the reverse. No flashy shine, no brilliance, no attention. It looks old, maybe even damaged. And that's exactly why people lose fortunes without even realizing it. Because what you're looking at is not damage. It's survival. And survival like this is rare. Back in 1949, the United States was still adjusting after the chaos of World War II. The economy was shifting, industries were stabilizing, and the demand for coinage was rising fast. The San Francisco Mint, marked with that small S you'll find near the bottom of the reverse, was under pressure to produce large quantities of coins quickly. And when mints are pushed like that, mistakes happen, shortcuts happen, and quality quietly suffers. That pressure is what created coins like this. Not perfect, but real. Not polished, but untouched. And collectors, they don't chase perfection the way you think. They chase truth. On the front of this coin, you'll see Benjamin Franklin's profile, calm, composed, almost unaware of the chaos of the time he represents. The word liberty arches above him, while in God we trust sits confidently below. But here's where things get interesting. The surface isn't smooth. It carries layers, gray, slightly uneven, almost textured. That's time speaking. That's oxidation. That's originality. Flip it over, and now you see the Liberty Bell. Strong, historic. And just to the right, that small eagle, added only to satisfy legal requirements back then. But your eyes should be pulled somewhere else. That green spot. Most people panic when they see that. They think corrosion, damage, something went wrong. But experienced collectors, they lean in closer. Because that green tone, if natural, can be a sign of untouched metal reacting over decades. It means the coin hasn't been cleaned, hasn't been stripped, hasn't been ruined by someone trying to improve it. And that changes everything. Let me be very clear here. Do not clean this coin. Not lightly, not carefully, not at all. The moment you try to fix what you think is a flaw, you destroy the very thing that makes it valuable. That original toning, the gray layers, the subtle color variations, even that green spot, those are fingerprints of time. Once they're gone, the silent fortune disappears with them. Now hold on to this part, because most people miss it. This coin is in very fine condition. That means it has been in circulation. It has lived a life. It has exchanged hands, passed through pockets, survived decades of being overlooked. And yet, it still holds detail. You can still see Franklin's hairlines, the bell's structure, the lettering is clear. That balance between wear and preservation is incredibly hard to find. Too worn, value drops. Too perfect, suspicion rises. But this is believable, authentic, And collectors, they obsess over that. Let's talk about how it feels, because yes, that matters too. This coin weighs approximately 12.5 grams. When you hold it, it feels solid, not like modern coins. The diameter sits at about 30.6 millimeters, giving it that wide, commanding presence in your palm. Thickness, around 2.15 millimeters. And the edge, reeded, sharp enough to remind you this wasn't made casually. This was made to last. And somehow, it did. Now here's where things turn from interesting to unbelievable. Coins like this, 1949s Franklin half dollars with original surfaces, natural toning, and no cleaning have reached market values around $237,530. Let that sink in. A coin that looks dull, slightly stained, completely ordinary to an untrained eye, holding that kind of value. That's hidden wealth. That's silent fortune. And the scariest part? People are still spending them. Right now. Without checking. Without knowing. And once it's gone, it's gone. Collectors don't just buy these coins, they fight for them. Quietly. Aggressively. Auctions don't always look dramatic, but behind the scenes, bids climb fast. Because serious collectors know, coins like this aren't coming back into the market easily. Most are locked away, held, protected, and every year fewer remain available, which means demand goes up, supply goes down, and the value? It doesn't stay still. If you ever come across a Franklin half dollar, especially one from 1949 with that S mint mark, the first thing you do is stop. Don't rush. Don't judge it by shine. Look at the surface. Look for natural toning. Look for signs that it has not been cleaned. And before you even think about selling it, get it professionally graded. Because guessing its value is how people lose money. Patience, that's how people build it. This is not fiction. This is happening. And most people are missing it completely. So again, do not spend this coin. Because what's coming next makes this one look almost common. And trust me, the next coin is where things get really dangerous to ignore. Next up, you're about to see a coin most people would never even look at twice. And that's exactly why it's so dangerous. Because this 1950 Franklin half dollar with no mint mark, covered in these strange brown and grey waves, sitting in what collectors call fine condition, doesn't scream value. It doesn't shine. It doesn't look rare. It looks used, ordinary, almost forgettable. And that's how people lose real money. This coin doesn't beg for attention. It hides from it. But here's the truth. Most people will never hear. This exact type of coin has crossed market values around $228 fiat, not because it's perfect, but because it's real, untouched, and brutally honest about its past. So before you ignore a coin like this again, listen carefully. Because this one detail changes everything. The year 1950 wasn't just another random date stamped onto metal. America was stepping into a new kind of pressure. The post-war boom was building fast, but so was global tension. The Korean War was about to begin. Demand for resources, including silver, was rising. The U.S. Mint had to keep up with circulation needs while dealing with shifting economic priorities. And when production ramps up under pressure, something always gives. Consistency, precision, control. That's where coins like this are born. Now here's what makes this one different right away. There's no mint mark. That means it was struck in Philadelphia, the primary mint. And a lot of people make a huge mistake here. They assume no mint mark means common. That assumption, it's costing people fortunes. Because while Philadelphia produced large numbers, the survival rate of original, untouched coins with natural aging patterns like this one is shockingly low, especially with these brown and grey wave patterns. Look closely at the front of the coin. Benjamin Franklin's face is still there, but softer now. The sharpness has faded just enough to tell you it's circulated, but not enough to destroy its identity. Liberty still stretches across the top, worn but readable. In God We Trust sits below, slightly softened by time. And then you notice it, those waves. Not random, not damage, not dirt. They flow as across the surface like layers, brown, merging into grey, almost like the coin is carrying a memory of every hand it passed through. That kind of toning doesn't happen overnight. It forms slowly, naturally over decades, and that's exactly what collectors want. Because once again, this is originality. Flip the coin over. The Liberty Bell is still standing strong but not untouched. The lines are worn, the details softened, but the structure remains. United States of America wraps around the edge with $50 anchoring the bottom. And again, those waves continue. That consistency across both sides is critical. Because fake toning, it rarely matches. Artificial cleaning, it destroys patterns like this. But natural aging, it tells a story you can't fake. And collectors, they're obsessed with that story. Let's talk about the feel, because this is where reality hits you. When you hold this coin, you feel its weight, around 12.5 grams of solid silver composition. That's 90% silver, 10% copper. Not plated, not cheap. Real metal, real value. The diameter spreads out to about 30.6 millimeters, wide enough to command attention in your hand. Thickness, roughly 2.15 millimeters. And the edge, reeded, slightly worn, but still defined. This isn't just a coin, it's a survivor. And here's the part most people ignore. Condition doesn't mean perfect. This coin is in fine condition, which means it has visible wear. But here's the twist. Fine condition coins with original surfaces are often more desirable than higher grade coins that have been cleaned or altered. Let me say that again clearly. Never clean this coin. The moment you try to brighten it, polish it, or remove those brown and grey waves, you destroy the silent fortune hiding inside it. Collectors don't want shiny lies. They want authentic history. That natural toning, that uneven, imperfect surface, is what proves this coin hasn't been tampered with. It's raw. It's honest. And in this market, that's everything. Now imagine this. Someone finds this coin in a drawer, sees the discoloration, assumes it's dirty, and spends it. That's not just a mistake. That's a $228,000 decision. Gone. Forever. And the person who receives it next, they might recognize it instantly. That's how quiet wealth transfers from one person to another without a word. Collectors today are not just buying coins, they're hunting them. And coins like this, they don't show up often. When they do, bidding doesn't always look loud, but it's intense, calculated, serious, because they know these coins aren't being made anymore. And the ones that survived untouched, they're disappearing into private collections, vaults, long-term holdings. Supply is shrinking. Demand is rising. And the value, it follows that pressure. If you ever come across a 1,950 Franklin $50 without a mint mark, stop immediately. Don't rush to judgment. Don't assume it's common. Look at the surface. Look for natural patterns, not shine. Check for consistency in toning across both sides. And most importantly, protect it. Get it professionally graded. Because guessing its value is how people lose it. And patience? That's how people turn coins into life-changing money. Do not spend this coin. Because the next coin is where things stop making sense. It's rarer than both of these, more aggressive in auctions, and carries a level of hidden value that most people wouldn't even believe if they saw it in their own hand. And that's exactly why you need to see it. Next up, most people will never even get the chance to see this coin the way you're about to, and if they did, they'd still miss it. Because this 1,954 Franklin half-dollar with a D mint mark in uncirculated condition doesn't look like a jackpot at first glance. It looks calm, clean, almost too normal. No scratches screaming for attention, no wild colors, no obvious rare coin signs. And that's exactly what makes it dangerous. This is the kind of coin people trust too easily, and then lose forever. Because what you're holding here, if you ever come across one, is not just silver. It's a silent, untouched piece of history that somehow escaped circulation, survived decades, and is now sitting in a market where collectors are quietly paying around $218,840 for the right example. Let that settle in your mind. A coin that looks this ordinary, carrying that kind of hidden weight? Yeah, this is where things stop making sense. Now go back to 1954 for a second. America was deep in a transition phase. The Korean War had just ended the year before. The country was shifting from wartime tension into economic expansion again. But underneath that surface growth, there was uncertainty. Inflation concerns, metal demand fluctuations, and growing pressure on the US. Mint to maintain coin production while managing resources carefully. Silver, real silver, was still the backbone of coins like this. And the Denver Mint, marked by that small but powerful D, was pushing production hard to meet demand. But here's the twist most people miss. Uncirculated coins from that environment? They weren't supposed to survive like this. Coins were meant to move, to circulate, to wear down, to disappear into everyday life. But some didn't. Some were pulled aside, saved, forgotten, or simply never released properly into heavy circulation. And that's where the rarity begins. Because this coin, uncirculated, means it has never lived the life it was created for. No wear, no friction, no loss of detail. Just pure, untouched preservation. And collectors, they don't just like that. They chase it. Look at the obverse, the front. Benjamin Franklin's portrait is sharp, almost too sharp. Every line in his hair is intact. The cheek contours are smooth but defined. Liberty stretches across the top in full clarity, not faded, not softened. In God we trust. Below looks like it was struck yesterday. There's no confusion here. This coin hasn't been through hands. It hasn't been dragged through pockets. It's been waiting. Now flip it. The Liberty Bell on the reverse doesn't just sit there, it stands out. Crisp lines, strong edges. The crack in the bell is visible but clean. United States of America wraps around with full strength, and $half below anchors it with authority. And right there, that small D mint mark. Tiny, easy to miss, but absolutely critical, because that mark ties this coin directly to the Denver Mint, and collectors pay attention to that detail more than anything else. Different mints, different pressures, different results, and sometimes different rarity levels. Now let's talk about something most people completely overlook, the feel. When you hold this coin, it doesn't feel like modern money. It feels heavier, more deliberate. Around 12.5 grams of 90% silver and 10% copper. That weight isn't just physical, it's psychological. You feel like you're holding something important. The diameter sits at about 30.6 millimeters, wide and commanding in your hand. Thickness, around 2.15 millimeters. And the edge, sharp, reeded, untouched by wear. This is what untouched history feels like. And that's exactly why it's so rare today. Because surviving in uncirculated condition is incredibly difficult. Coins get used. They get scratched. They get cleaned wrongly. And that's where most of them lose everything. So let's be clear, never clean this coin. Not even a little. Not even just to make it shine. Because the moment you interfere with that original surface, you destroy its authenticity. Collectors can tell instantly, and when they do, the value drops fast. That flawless, untouched finish, that's what they're paying for. That's the silent proof that this coin hasn't been altered, hasn't been tampered with, hasn't been ruined by someone trying to improve it. Originality is everything, and once it's gone forever. Now here's where things get intense. Coins like this don't just sit in open markets waiting to be bought. They move quietly, privately, between collectors who understand exactly what they're looking at. There's no loud hype, no public chaos, just focused, serious demand. Because they know uncirculated coins from this era, with this level of preservation, are disappearing. Every year, more get lost, mishandled, or locked away permanently, which means fewer chances to find one. And when supply shrinks like that, value doesn't stay still. It climbs. Slowly, silently, but powerfully. And the scariest part? Some of these coins are still out there. In old collections, inherited boxes, forgotten drawers, even bank rolls that haven't been searched carefully. People are holding them without realizing it. Or worse, they're spending them, thinking they're just another 50-cent piece. That's not just a mistake. That's a life-changing loss. So if you ever come across a 1,954 Franklin half-dollar with a D mint mark, the first thing you do is stop. Don't rush. Don't assume. Look closely. Check the surface. Is it untouched? Are the details sharp? Does it look like it avoided circulation completely? And then protect it. Do not spend this coin. Do not clean it. Get it professionally graded.